Hi there, Bill Hitchcock. Got a fantastic program for you today. It is Monday, November 3rd. Lots have been going on. The weekend was great. In our fishing report, we've got whales and strange flounders and weird rays and blackfin tuna and speckled trout and drum and spots and sea mullet and a whole bunch of stuff to show you. In our shifting inlets segment, we're going to be concentrating on Masonboro, Carolina Beach, and Cape Pier. We've got a lot of very important news stuff to get out to you. We've got viewer catches, lots of viewer catches to show you. Thanks for sending the stuff in. Satfish, we're going to cover our sea surface temperatures and our forecasted winds and our coastal weather forecast, brought to us by the National Weather Service. Now let's jump on into news before we get into everything else. King tide cycle this week will lead to elevated water levels and potential minor flooding. Tide cycles peak this coming Thursday when we do the next show, November 6th. NOAA, this might not seem like much, but you're going to find out why it is. NOAA starting November 1st, this past Saturday, vessels 65 feet and longer along the mid-Atlantic must travel at 10 knots or less to help protect the critically endangered North Atlantic right whale. Fewer than 400 of these whales remain, and ship strikes are a leading cause of death. The speed restrictions stay in place through April 30th. NOAA also recommends, underline that, smaller vessels slow down when whales may be present, including along coastal waters off Morehead City, Beaufort, from Wilmington south to Georgia. That's from NOAA. Now, as a friendly reminder, got a lot of talk about this. New state law beginning December 1st will require all fishermen, underline the ALL, all fishermen, commercial and recreational, to report the catches of red drum, flounder, striped bass, speckled, and gray trout to the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries. Now, all commercial harvests must be reported on trip tickets regardless of sale. This is real important because there's a misconception out there. I have spoken with Brandy Salmon, the License and Statistics Section Chief for the North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries. Long story short, the misconception has been this: that when this new law comes in December 1st, all recreational fishermen have to report those 5 fish. If a commercial fisherman is recreational fishing, he has to report those 5 fish. If a commercial fisherman goes out with his commercial gear and does not sell, he's got to report those fish. So anyway, you look at it, everybody, no matter what situation, has to report those fish. I've got an interview with Jesse Bissett coming up. I'm going to do that on Wednesday. He's with the North Carolina Marine Fisheries Commission. We're going to talk about this new law. We will show you this interview on Thursday and at our next show. But the main thing is mark December 1st. If you catch speckled trout, gray trout, drum, flounder, or what I just left out something, striped bass, you're gonna have to report it to the Division of Marine Fisheries. All right, let's go on and take a look at our Satfish sea surface temperatures and wind forecast and our coastal weather conditions and what it's going to be like this coming week. All right, it's time for the Wind and Sea Report. It's brought to us by Satfish, the satellite fishing technology, folks. And what we're looking at right now, look at this offshore of the northern Outer Banks. That's a low pressure system. This is Monday morning at 7 o'clock when I'm doing this. That's a low pressure system, and it's bringing almost 30 knot winds to the northern Outer Banks. Pamlico Sound about 20 knots. Here in front of Ocracoke in the Raleigh Bay area, 22 knots. Down here in the Onslow Bay, 16 knots. And down here in the Cape Fear area, around 17. What's going to happen tomorrow? Tuesday early morning, the wind shifts. It's still 18, 20 knots, northern Outer Banks, Raleigh Bay, 16 knots. Down here in the Onslow Bay, about 15 knots. Down here off of Cape Fear, 10 knots. What's going to be like on Wednesday? The wind shifts. Okay, and you're going to see a lot of this, by the way. The wind shifts more out of the southwest. It's at about 20 knots of northern Outer Banks. It's down here in the Cape Lookout area around 18 knots. Cape Fear area around 10 knots. What about Thursday? Thursday, the wind shifts again. Now look at this. there is some low pressure system off the coast here, way off the coast, that we don't really have to worry about. But onshore here, 20 knots, northern Outer Banks, down here in front of Ocracoke, 15 knots, down here in front of the Jacksonville, Swansboro area, 11 knots, down here Cape Fear, 8 knots. And let's move it on into Friday. The Friday and the wind shifts again. But the good thing, what it's looking like for Friday right now, northern Outer Banks, less than 10 knots down here in the Raleigh Bay, 7, 8 knots down here in the Onslow Bay, 7, 8 knots down here in the Cape Fear area, 6, 7 knots. So it looks like the wind is going to subside coming this weekend. Now let's take a look at sea surface temperatures. This is a 3-day composite because here's the raw data, which is absolutely nothing for us. So this is a 3-day composite. One of the interesting things that I want to point out is up here in the top right corner. This is evidently a warm water eddy. Warm water eddies rotate to counterclockwise, and it looks like it's pulling that cold water on out to it. But this is, again, way offshore of us. We don't have anything to worry about. The most fascinating thing right now, for me at least, Albemarle Sound, 60 degrees. The Albemarle Sound water temperatures within the past 2 weeks has dropped a good 10 degrees. So it's just pretty much everywhere. Albemarle Sound, 60 degrees. Working on down here in the Pamlico Sound, it's just a couple of degrees warmer. We've got some cooler spots and some warmer spots, but it's around 62 degrees. And I mean, working on up here in the Neuse River, it's 62 degrees. It's pretty consistent. Now, and you can see places like here in front of Oregon Inlet where that cold water is coming out of, and you're going to find out in the fishery report what this means. This cold water is coming out of the Pamlico Sound, but pretty much you've got a 63, 64 degree water temperatures going up and down the coast of Hatteras. Once we get down here on the south side of Hatteras and in front of Ocracoke, we'll zoom in. Well, that's about, well, let's go back this way. You'll see that the Onslow Bay area, and you'll for the next couple of months, I'll be talking about this. The warmest waters will always be here in the Raleigh Bay area. I keep calling it Onslow Bay area for some reason. But let's zip on down here in the Cape Lookout area. If you're king mackerel fishermen, get excited. Look at the places like Northwest Places, 68 degrees, and it's pretty much 68 degrees all around the Cape Lookout shoals here. That's fantastic king mackerel water temperatures. This line here is a 10 fathom drop. All of these places as well, it's around 67, 68 degrees. Fantastic king mackerel fishing. That buffer stays pretty much consistent all the way on down in front of Wrightsville Beach, Carolina Beach area here. These would be some fantastic places for the king mackerel fishermen. Interestingly, though, in front of the Cape Fear area all the way to Little River Inlet, it's pretty consistent and pretty much cooler, around 65, 66 degrees. And pull on out here so we can take a look at the Gulf Stream. You can see the Gulf Stream water temperatures are 80 to 82 degrees still. All right, I'd like to thank Satfish, the satellite fishing technology folks, for bringing us this information. Go to their website, satfish.com, satfish.com. Take a look at all they have to offer. It is a lot. Let's take a look at our weather forecast being brought to us by the National Weather Service. Right now, we're taking a look at the forecasted highs for Monday when I'm doing this. And again, as a friendly reminder, wherever you see a temperature, that's where the location they're speaking of. Like this is in Pamlico Sound. This is out in front of Portsmouth Island. This is in front of the Bogue Banks area. This is up into the land. All right, you can see that the temperatures are going to be in the mid 60s today during Monday. Let's go into Tuesday and see what happens on Tuesday. Lower 60s pretty much all up and down the coast of North Carolina. Let's see what happens Wednesday. It warms up just a little bit in the northern Outer Banks in the mid 60s as we work on down here towards the Wilmington area. Cape Fear area, 69 degrees. Thursday, what are the high temperatures going to be like? Well, it's pretty much the same thing. Friday, what are they projecting? 68. Oh, let's take a look at Saturday. Saturday, that, whoa, you know, some 70 degrees. So we're making it up to that. Now, let's go on and take a look back at the forecasted chance of rain probabilities on today, on Monday. You can see there's a 40 to 50% chance of rain all up and down the coast of North Carolina. But as we move forward, Tuesday, that's 1% chance of rain on Wednesday. There's zero. They're saying no rain on Wednesday. They're saying on Thursday, no chance of rain on Friday. What happened Friday? There we see some muck over here on the western end of the mountains, but along the coast, no chance to rain. It looks like the first time we have a chance to rain, that's Saturday. That's what they're showing us. But trust me, Saturday's too far away for us to worry about. All right, that's been our projected high temperatures and rain probabilities brought to us by the National Weather Service. Temperatures seem to be pretty cool, as in groovy. God, I'm old. Going to be decent in the 60s. The wind is going to be constantly shifting, but as it stands right now, it looks like Friday is going to be a very good day. And let's see about Saturday, wind-wise, to go out fishing. Now, in our North Carolina Shifting Inlets segment, today we're concentrating on Masonboro, Carolina Beach, and Cape Fear inlets. Of all the inlets, the one that doesn't seem to do much over that 40-year period, again, I didn't lead into it properly, but the shifting inlets is satellite imagery over a 38-year period. The mouth of Cape Fear doesn't seem to do much. It just seems to sit on there. Now, I love this. I have a viewer. Now, normally we have our viewer catch a segment, but this isn't a catch. Our viewer, Bob Griffith, he says, "Hi, Bill. Watched the show religiously from southern Indiana. I'm just a tourist, aren't we all? But I've been fascinated with the diversity of the banks for years now. I found this diagram a while back and thought it'd be a good fit for your new inlet segment. Now, look at this diagram. I'll hold it up there a little bit. Now, those lines that you see out in the ocean, that's not where the coastline was. Those are timelines if you look up top. But look to the right side. Look at all those inlets, and look at all those inlets you probably never heard of that were here for a period of time and went bye-bye. And I really do appreciate, Bob, you sending this on in. One of the inlets that I'll talk about that you'll see, I think it's like number 24, 25 listed there, is Cheeseman's Inlet. That's Bogue Banks. It's an Atlantic beach. Bogue Banks used to be 2 islands, not 1 island. It's at the Hoopole Creek area. If you know where Food Lion is, Atlantic Beach, that used to be an inlet. That filled in, I believe, around 1850. All right, he wanted to show this. Bob had a couple of pictures. Yeah, let's go on and show it. It says, "The shark is from Corolla a few years ago. The blue cat from Indiana, just y'all know," he used the word y'all, just so y'all know we have predators too. Bob Griffith, thank you very much. Now, let's get on with the fishing report. Nags Head Pier. Fishing is good so far this morning. Yesterday morning, Spike with a nice speckled trout and Logan with a black drum. The temps are getting warmer, and so is the fishing at the Nags Head Pier. Fishing Unlimited out of Nags Head, they said fishing has been picking up. The northern beaches and piers have been good catches of sea mullet, spot, bluefish, puppy drum, black drum, trout, and big drum here and there. And some scattered blowtoads, blowfish. The Little Bridge is still producing a few trout. and bluefish. TW's Bait and Tackle and Nag said they say the sound side fishing has been great for speckled trout, especially around the bridges in and most importantly, early in the morning. Dawn and dusk are still the best times to be out there for targeting a good trout bite. There have been reports of puppy drum, bluefish, and sheep's head. The Oregon Inlet Fishing Center. Sunday fishing was a blackfin tuna kind of day. Yeah, it was. November is here. Clocks are turned back, but we're fishing forward. I love hearing it. Tuna fever, which is also there at Oregon Inlet. We went southeast and sat out on the 615 and 100 fathoms in 77-degree water. We fished up in the northeast and got in some 80-degree water outside the 630, where the fishing was the last time we were out. Note, by the way, the tuna head in that picture. I'm going to show you that picture. It's usually a shark. It's always a tuna. We made a comment about that last summer. If a fish is getting eaten, an offshore fish, tuna, dolphin, wahoo, whatever, it always seems to be the tuna. Now, Hatteras Island, Rodanthe Pier. So Rebecca Griggs from Sharon, Pennsylvania, with a 25-inch puppy drum just caught yesterday. Fishing is getting pretty good with slot puppy drum. Nice black drum in a big sea mullet. Avon Pier, the guy Gil from Tennessee, is 7 years old, and besides setting the hook, he did set the hook by himself. He wrestled this 43-inch drum all by himself last night. His very first drum. This is what it's all about. Congratulations, buddy. We know you are hooked for 7 years. Man, I love it. Frank and Franz in Avon, North Carolina said, Todd got a nice pup this morning. Jason and Whitney caught some pups and a blue at Ramp 49. Jim from Psycho Surf Fishing did well on sea mullet and spot using bloodworms just north of the Avon Pier. Mike did well in Nag's Head today. Red Drum Bait and Tackle. Ken and grandson Saturday afternoon at the point, 45 inches, 46 inches. Thank you for sharing. Now, I want to show you this. I was so mad at myself because I forgot this on Thursday's show. This is a video from last week from Red Drum Bait and Tackle. Take a look at these really big Hatteras bluefish in the surf. Yes, now these are Hatteras blues. These are 5, 10-pound, maybe even larger bluefish just right there in the breakers. I'll never forget the time, it was in the 90s, I did a TV show with Bob Eakes, who owns Red Drum Bait and Tackle. And buddy, we got into them thick, and I didn't like standing in the water because they're like piranha. All right, Hatteras Harbor Marina says a couple of the offshore boats went to the fishing grounds this morning. Fishing was reported as being terrible. And I love reports like that because they're honest. It said the day before, wahoo and kings, but some of the boats had a few king mackerel and a couple of dolphin. They also had triggerfish and beeliners. The inshore boats had better luck with sheep's head, bluefish, black drum, and a sand tiger. Note that this shark, what are they using for bait? I don't know what that is, but it looks like a couple of pounds of fillets. But anyway, caught them a shark. That's what they were after. Ocracoke. Speaking of those big bluefish we just showed you, Trade Winds Bait and Tackle, Jared Chapman caught these giant bluefish last week when that was going on, fishing off of Ocracoke Island. All right, in the Cape Lookout, Bogue Banks area. Bounty Hunter Guide Service out of Morehead City. This is... You never know what you're going to see out there. That's what they say. Take a look at this video.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's try and catch him.
Yeah, now you can advertise whale watching.
Whales out and about. Now that little warning from Noah at the very beginning about 10 knots or less in your boat, this is why. That's what's going on by the coast of North Carolina right now. A lot of people don't know it, that up until about 100, 150 years ago, folks out there in like Coral Banks, Portsmouth Island, Shackleford Banks, that area, they were whalers. That's what they did, and it's not politically correct to say, but when the whales went around, they went after porpoises. That's what they did to survive. Chasing Tails Outdoors in Atlantic Beach, North Carolina said nonstop action for these two brothers today, Saturday. Shop Captain Rick Patterson kept these boys busy catching redfish and speckled trout all morning long on Bet's tackle slip floats with live shrimp under them. Saturday, more speckled trout. So that was... Anyway, this weekend, the Bill Collector of the Morehead City waterfront, another good day with Tom and crew. Tuna and some big wahoo, billfish, catch and release. Yay. Now, me and Ruthie went out. This was Saturday, Atlantic Beach, surf fishing. Here's a little video that I'm rolling. That's pretty much what happened, and I'll show you this picture. That's me with a ray, and let me show you a picture of one of the rays. If you can see, there's like barbels all around the edges of this one particular type of ray. We caught 8 rays in about an hour and a half, always on squid. They wouldn't hit anything else, and we caught 2 different species. So rays, how about that? We also caught bluefish and puffers, and Ruthie made those things for the bluefish and puffers for supper, and boy, were they good. So, let's go in the southern region, the OMC Fishing Adventures. This is if thump therapy is what you're looking for, give me a call. A bunch of drum and trout. The Von de Kay, I like the Von de Kay out of Carolina Beach. It says Saturday's full day. We saw gag grouper, cobia, red snapper, banded rudders, triggers, sharks, bass, beeliners, grunts, and false albacores, porgies, and ringtails. Now let me show you, they made mention of sharks. Let me show you a little bit of shark fishing that went on. A quick release, shall we say.
250? Ooh. Look at that. What a beaut. I think you did, right? I think you did. Yeah.
All right, Surf City Pier, Tavon with a nice 3.91 pound red drum. Brian caught a nice mess of mullet, sea mullet, some big ones. The Jolly Roger Pier at Topsail said we had a good catch of spots and Virginia mullet from the pier last night. This morning we caught spots, pompano, black drum, and trout. Sunset Beach Pier. What kind of flounder is this? I've been waiting to show this. Do you know what this is? Now, here in North Carolina, we have summer flounder, southern flounder, and Gulf flounder. Those are the 3 main species. But what you're seeing there ain't none of those 3. Does anybody know what that is? It's little, I know, but it's called a window pane flounder, and evidently they're indicative of the East Coast here. And to be quite honest with you, I've never seen one for real. Never have. So congratulations to the folks at the Sunset Pier with your window pane flounder. Finfisher Charters out of Holden Beach. They fish the Oak Island Southport area. Captain Ian reports the trout bite was on fire today. Caught well over 30 speckled trout on artificials and only a couple keepers on live shrimp. Well, that's strange. They were hitting a little bit of everything. Just one of those fun days where the bite was fun. Southern Run Fishing Charters out of Wilmington. They said 3 for 6 on wahoo and some tuna to go with them for today's trip. Looks like we may have a couple of more weather days coming up. If you're looking to catch wahoo, now is the time to go. Wahoo, like drum, is a year-round fish. All right, viewer catches, my favorite part. Mike Chambers says, hey, Bill, love your reports. We live 7 hours from Hatteras, so your reports really help us when planning our trips. My buddies Keith and Andy fished in Avon on Friday and caught 6 drum in the surf, all 24 to 26 inches. Yay, there you go. This is my other buddy's drum. He just caught in Avon. 50 inches, his personal best. Thanks, Mike Chambers. Vicki Reeves, she says, horrible day Tuesday, October 28th, but on Wednesday, October 29th, my husband, who loves to fish no matter the weather, and myself to the Rodanthe Pier to brave the whipping winds and high surf around lunchtime to see if the storm brought in any fish. Off of fresh shrimp. Oh, fresh shrimp is what they're using. My husband, Jeff, lost a couple of great bites, but caught a drum he was pretty proud of, but unfortunately had to release. At that time, we were told it was the best catch of the day, so congratulations, Vicky Reeves. Corey Hardison says, hey, Bill, we went out on the Foxy Lady with Captain Fox Johnson out of Carolina Beach. We caught our limits of amberjack and even snagged a king. Great day on the water. Thank you, Corey. Jimmy Powell says, me and my buddy Chris caught some nice kings just 5 miles off Emerald Isle Beach. Largest was 38.5 inches and smallest was 33 inches. We put 5 back, pulled the hook on 3 others. We were slow trolling with cigar minnows on the downrigger. It was an epic day. Yay! Muffin Talton. Her real name's Virginia, but she goes by Muffin. She says, we, and it's talking about her and her husband, were at Onslow County Beach Public Access 1. I caught a little pinfish, and he decided to use it for bait. Her husband was using a 2/0 hook on a double rig setup. He caught this beauty, it's a bluefish, at 3:30 p.m. It was over 4 pounds and 21 inches long. Needless to say, we had an amazing dinner. That fish fed 5 people, some of the prettiest inch-thick fillets I've ever seen. Hubby says I have an addiction. We finished watching your report, and I say it's time to go fishing. And that's signed Muffin. There we go. Email me, everybody, at billhitchcock at mail.com, billhitchcock at mail.com. Send me your pictures, your videos of your catches, of your lures, of your baits, of your whatever it is. Give us some context of whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you're a pier, a bait and tackle shop, a charter boat captain, an experienced professional fisherman, a first-time fisherman. Send stuff in to me at billhitchcock at mail.com. Please don't try to get up with me in any other way, because I usually don't check things like TikTok and Snicker or whatever that thing's called. So just email me, billhitchcock at mail.com. All right, that's all the time I have for today. Until next time, see ya.